Hello and welcome to this Caspio training video series. My name is Ed Garcia, and in this series, I'll be showing you how to create a searchable database. In part 1 of this video series, we learned how to import data. In this video, we will focus on creating a report data page. Here you see the homepage of Caspio Bridge and the list of all my apps I have created for various projects. First, let me show you a quick preview of what we're going to build today. Here's a searchable database of contacts. I have search criteria for first name, last name, email, and company. This application allows end users to search by any of these search criteria. When the user hits search, it will provide the listing of contacts. I also have details page where I can display additional information. I've even added additional fields where I can update the status, specify a follow-up date, or even add notes. So let me show you how easy it is to create this web interface. Let's go back to my account. To create any data page in Caspio, all you have to do is click on the New Data Page link, and this will launch Caspio's DataPage Wizard. And just to point out quickly, on the left-hand side, these are all the different data pages that can be created in Caspio. First one here is Forms, where you can create any submission forms, single record update, or password recovery. Now for Reports, that would be under this tab, and these are all the different layouts that can be created under Reports. We have Calendars data page, which allows you to display records in a monthly or weekly calendar layout. If you have a database of events, you can easily display them in these layouts. Now, charts for more advanced reporting. Lastly, HTML page. It's a blank page where you can insert any valid HTML tags to create a simple web page here in Caspio. In this video, we'll focus on reports. In fact, I'd like to create a tabular layout. When you create a tabular layout, these are all the different data pages or pages that can be consisted in this layout. The first page here is Search page, where you can display or configure all your search criteria. Next, the Results page, where you can display the fields that you would like to display in the report. And lastly, the Details page, where you can display additional or more detailed information. Okay, let's go right to it. So I'll go ahead and click Next here. The first step is to select the data source. In this case, I would like to create a report based on my contacts table, which I imported in the first video of this series. I can point to that and name the data page any name you like. I can select my preferred style and localization, and then I can click Next to go to the next screen. In this screen, I have two options. The first one allows users to select data using a search form, meaning provide a search page, or you can skip that page and go directly to the results page, or you can filter data based on predefined criteria. I definitely would like to create a search page, so I'll go ahead and choose this option and then click Next. In this screen, it gives you all the fields from the database. Notice each screen provides a quick instruction above here. Just like what I have, choose the fields that you wish to use in the search form. And based on my sample app, let's take a quick look. Let's go back to my search page, allowing users to search by first name, last name, email, and company. So all we have to do is simply select the ones that you would like to display in the search page or select your search criteria. Select the fields from the left and bring it over to the right. Again, first name, last name, email, and also company. And then click Next. Here you can select each field that you would like to display in the results and then configure each properties. You can configure the label, which will display online, select the form element, and these are all the different forms that are available, configure comparison types such as not equal, contains, and many others. You can also make any fields required. You can show as password, you can enable calendar pop-up for date fields, you can even size the field using a number of characters and specify the maximum or the minimum characters allowed in a field. Okay, so these are all pretty straightforward fields, so I'll just go ahead and leave that as text fields. Looks good. Now let's go to the next screen. In this screen, I can configure or select the fields I would like to display in the results. Let's take a quick look again. I'm displaying the first, last name, phone, email, and company. So I can then select and bring them over to the right. First name, last name, phone, email, and company. All right, moving on to the next step. Here I can rearrange these fields in any order using these two arrows. I can even add an HTML block using the Insert button. This way I can add additional information such as subtitles, small instructions for users, or a description of the page. Any information you would like using text or any valid HTML tags. Same as the previous screen, you can configure the label for each one. There's also an option to render the values different format. You can select this pull-down menu and you have 4 options. By default, it is rendered as text, but you can also render values as HTML if you have any valid HTML tags in your database. If you have email, just like what I have here, I can then select or specify to render the value as email, meaning the data will be displayed as an email hyperlink. All right, company looks good. Phone, text, same as first name and last name, and now I can click next. Okay, so this brings me to the step in the wizard where I can specify the sort order. You can sort up to 4 fields. For example, I would like to sort my records by default using the last name in ascending order. If I click this button again, I can sort my records in descending order, or even in random order. So last name's fine in ascending order. You can also control the number of records per page. By default, it's 25 records. You can definitely change that. However, as best practice, we suggest 25 records or less. Caspio's report data page provides you paging automatically. Let's take a quick look. It tells you the number of records down here and paging feature. By default, it is enabled, but you can disable that if you prefer. This gives you an option to click on the next 25 records, so 25 at a time, or you can jump to a different screen if you like. When you click next, you now have options to enable the details page. This is optional, but if you enable, you have 2 options here. Default action link, which will display details as a text on the report page, just like what I have here. Or you can specify one of the data field to be a link. In this case, let's just go ahead and use the default and then click next. Okay, very similar to the results page, you can specify the ones that you would like to display in the details page, or you can select all fields using this button. When you click next, same concept. Select a field on the left, and then you can configure the properties here one at a time. First name, last name, and then phone, email, and then the rest of the fields looks great. Notice each field is set as display only. If you click this pull-down menu, you actually have options to change any fields from display only to any appropriate field, which makes it an editable field. And that allows end users to update the data. In this case, I don't want the users to update any of the contact information, so I'll go ahead and leave those as display only. However, I do have 3 additional fields, which I would like to use to manage my contacts database. I can update or change the status, set as follow-up date, and add notes. Those fields do not exist in my database at this point, but I can always go back to my tables and add more fields. So let me go ahead and hit finish here, save the changes, and go to my tables tab. There's my contacts table. I'm going to go ahead and redesign my table so I can go to the design mode, scroll all the way down, and I can easily add those 3 additional fields. Status, I'll go ahead and set that as text 255. Also follow-up date, which of course I would like that to be date/time. Lastly, notes. I'd like that to be text 64,000, so that way I can go up to 64,000 characters. Then save the changes. Now I can easily go back to my data pages, edit, and when you edit, it goes right back to the same steps. You can either click next, next, or next, or you can click on this button, and you can easily jump to any screen of the wizard. In this case, I'd like to go to the Configure the Details page fields and include those additional fields. So here I can include status, follow-up date, and notes. I can now configure those fields, and as mentioned earlier, by default, these fields are all set as display only, but I can easily change them to any field and make them editable. So for status, I would like that to be a drop-down. When you choose drop-down in Caspio, it automatically gives you source where you can reference to any other tables you may have in Caspio and auto-populate data in your drop-down. Or you can just add custom values just like what I have. Since I only have 3 options, I can just easily enter each value one at a time, such as notes, correction, new, close, and in progress. Just like what I have here. New, close, and in progress. There's also default options such as select, which I can easily include that in my options. For default, you want to make sure that the value is blank so you can change the order in any way you like. So I'll make that the first one. Now for the follow-up date, I would like that to be text field and enable a calendar pop-up, just like what I have here. And last but not the least, notes. I would like that to be text area so that I get a bigger box and I can go up to 64,000 characters. I can now click next and finish. All right, let's take a quick look. Here's my contacts reports data page. Here's my search page. I can allow users to search by first, last name, email, and company. Here's my results, 25 records at a time, but I can definitely go to the next screen to see the next 25 records. And lastly, here's the details page where I displayed more information, including 3 additional fields, editable fields, status, follow-up date, and notes. And that concludes part 2 of this video series. For additional videos and training material, please visit howto.caspio.com. Thanks for watching.